All right, so now we're down to survey questions. So one of the most important things about a survey question is how you ask it. A big thing that you want to do when you go out and do surveys is you're going to have to get people to give you a little bit of their time. So I'm going to tell you how to get that done. First off, you want to go out and have lots of people available so you're not in a situation where there's too few people and it's going to be very frustrating and you're going to feel like giving up. So a heavy trafficked area is really good. Public areas are really best because that way you're not going to get kicked out of like some privately owned space or what have you. But when you approach somebody, you can let them know that you're doing a really quick market research survey, a real quick opinion poll. People love to give their opinion, and tell them that it's going to be really quick, only take a quick minute, and it'd be so helpful. You can mention those things like helpful and stuff because people like to be helpful. So you take a second, you let them know the time is short, that you're going to respect their time, and that it would be helpful to you and you'd really appreciate it. So always be friendly in your manner. Greg Winterig talks about his book, Fun at Work, about the importance of communication within an organization. That's those same principles that happen within your business apply to the public as well and to customer service. So you want to apply those same principles in dealing with people and approaching them out on the street. Be polite, be respectful, use all of those points when you're dealing with others if you want to get any surveys done, that is. Let them know that it's going to take a quick minute and it's going to be real short and that would be hugely helpful. Great, so the next point is what you're going to supply yourself with when you go out and do a survey. Your dress is a big deal. You want to be dressed a decent, in good. You don't have to overdress, be in a suit or anything like that. I would say business casual would be the right level of dress for this type of activity, so you don't make people uncomfortable and you fit in with them nicely, but you also look a little bit like somebody who's doing something that's important. Make sure you're well groomed and all those points. These are common sense things, but definitely stuff that a surveyor should take into consideration. You should have a clipboard and plenty of copies of the survey and space so you can write in and take notes on the individual people that you're surveying. You should actually copy off the survey that you're doing and have multiple copies of it so you can quickly take down your notes on that survey form that has the questions on it and then move on to the next person and the next survey. The other thing is that I want to tell you is don't do surveys in groups. Do individuals. Because groups, the second survey is not going to be as valid as the first because there's a little bit of thing where the first person kind of like, oh, that's a good answer. Their answers will influence the second person's answers. So even though you might survey two people, realize the second survey might be a little bit skewed because of the person standing there and listening to the first person. They're going to have, it's going to influence what they say, their opinions, and they may just give you the exact same answers as a matter of fact. So those are some of the basics. So have a clipboard, have paper, have pens, have an extra pen in case you run out of ink, and give yourself the time that you need to go out on the street for a good chunk of time to actually get some surveys done. Great, so next is the questions themselves. So you want to ask people for their opinion, and a really good thing to do is have a couple questions first off that don't necessarily matter. What do you do for a living? You can have some demographic data that you collect, which gets you in communication with the person and gets things rolling so that by the time you actually get to the survey question, there's been a little bit of communication established between you and this person. So we're going to have you do those type of surveys so you can find out what you want to talk about when you're going to present what you do to others. Then you can take other information like the research that you've done regarding your competition and take a look at what can make you unique and different and stand out. You should do all the other things we talked about in the market research section so that you've got that data even before you write your survey questions. So you've got good information that you can put together and you're thinking with regarding your competition, the demographic, your target audience, all of those things, because those are all going to factor into who you ask the questions of and how you utilize the data that you're going to collect in this final part. So it's pretty exciting. You're going to end up with some great data on the primary problems that people are running into. And in the sales arena, that we call this a pain point or a goal, and what the benefits are, why people, how people value this. A lot of great salespeople talk about building on value. Well, you're going to find out what those values are that people take to heart regarding your type of product or service, and then you're going to be able to translate those into some sort of useful, maybe even the name of your company, or how you're going to present various advertisements, and all sorts of things that you can then move into and utilize with regards to your company, your product, and your service. The other one point I want to make is you want to give a person a sufficient idea of what you're doing the survey for once they've agreed to it. So you want to give them a general idea before you even start the survey, and you can put this right in your survey form, of what kind of survey it is. So let's say, for instance, that you're doing a survey for an air conditioning company, right? And you're basically want to say, great, we provide cooling systems for people's homes, and we want to collect some data, some information on how we could best serve potential customers. Can we get your opinion? And so then you're off and running, and the person's thinking with what it is you're going to be asking them questions about, and you can phrase your survey questions like we've given below. So we've given you the basic questions below, and then we've also given you some examples of how we've rounded out those questions for a couple different products and service types. And then you can take that information and formulate your own questions, test them out on a couple people right here, and then hit the streets and start collecting your data. You want to get enough of a sampling so that you really know what the percentages are, and you should end up with questions that lead you in a definite direction, where a majority of the individuals are saying a certain type of thing, and you have something that really stands out as the key thing that you want to take advantage of or push or utilize in your later promotion. So there you go.